from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
It came out of nowhere. Oh my God, look! A tornado touches down in Tuscola County and leaves behind a path of destruction.
And developing right now, another major White House shakeup. The president's controversial chief strategist is out, but was he fired or did he resign?
A fatal car crash, a car into a building. The building becomes unsafe. Now we're seeing action tonight after we call the city.
All right, Sean, but we begin here at 5 with breaking news coming from Orion Township. That's where police say a 17-year-old was sexually assaulted by a man who broke into her home. Right now, police are actively looking for the attacker who broke into the home on Morgan Road.
Mara McDonald is there live. Mara?
Sandra, let me set this up for you. We are on Morgan Road, which is near I-75 and Baldwin Road. This is a 2-lane road. It's not a subdivision, and the homes that dot this area are on sizable, more than an acre lots. My point in telling you this is that you're not going to hear what's going on inside your neighbor's house because the homes are that far apart. So sheriffs are telling us a 17-year-old girl is home alone. She's soaking in her bathtub when a man breaks into the house, comes into the bathroom, pulls her out of the tub, then brings her into the living room. He throws her on the couch, starts unbuttoning his pants. She starts kicking him in the stomach. That's when the family's dogs, who are outside of the house but at the rear door, see what's going on and start barking their heads off. He freaks out over the barking dogs and takes off running. She calls the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. They get out here, do a track. They don't find him. They think perhaps he took off in a car. Now, this is the best description that we have of this guy so far, that he is a white guy, probably in his 40s, between 5'11", 6 feet tall, with a muscular build and dark eyebrows. We don't have more of a description than this because when he broke into that house, he had on a hoodie, as well as a tan cloth across his face. So essentially, he was masked. The Sheriff's Department is telling us that they're running down leads right now. They think that potentially that this is somebody who is known by this family. So they don't think at this point that this was random. They just can't rule anything out at this point, and they are actively looking. So if you have any information on what happened here, the Oakland County Sheriff's Department would very much like to hear from you. We are live in Orion Township. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara, our other top story tonight, deadly speed takes a life and a whole lot more overnight in Detroit.
Police say a driver lost control, rolled their car, slammed right into this building on Finkel near Quincy. The passenger in the car was killed. Let's get to Sean Lay live where it happened. And Sean, that building was destroyed as well.
And I'll walk you right through it, Sandra, and everyone watching. Look, the car slams in the building right here, leaving that hole, killing that passenger. The driver is in critical condition, but this crash also left this building in a very unsafe condition, and nothing was happening out here about the condition of that building until we called the city of Detroit. It happened at 4:30 this morning on Finkel at Quincy. Witnesses say a woman speeding at 100 miles an hour lost control and slammed into this building, killing her passenger. By daybreak, Sky 4 can show you more of the massive damage done here.
That this is just unbelievable. Somebody to jump it and hit the building.
The impact shaking neighbors out of their beds.
It was like boom. And that's her. He said he came outside. He seen the car hanging out the building. And he said he seen a young lady head hanging out the window, and another guy was like, it's two bodies.
With already a loss of life in the crash, more lives are impacted. The building hit a longtime family business that rents out inflatables and other event supplies. The owner too upset to talk about what happened. Also, you can see how the side of the building took a direct hit from the car. The building looks unstable on one side. Look up, and you can see there are 3 apartments on top of the building. 2 tenants and 1 family with 2 children live here.
Well, the building, as you can see, it's extremely damaged, and so the integrity of the building is in question, and so we don't want anyone to be in that building.
And no one's allowed in tonight. City and the owner of the building working with those families right now to find them another place to live tonight. Sandra?
And Sean, what about the people who were inside the car? Have they been identified yet?
They have not. We've been checking on them. Again, the driver in critical, the passenger lost his life, but No identification yet. The license plate on the silver Saab that crashed into the building, the driver crashed into the building, doesn't come back to the people who were in there. So more investigation needs to be done.
So tragic. All right. Thank you, Sean. Kimberly?
Developing right now, another major shakeup at the White House. Now it's Steve Bannon, President Trump's controversial chief strategist, who's out. But there's one big question left unanswered. Was he fired or did he quit? Blaine Alexander is in Washington tonight as the list of former top White House aides continues to grow.
Well, Kimberly, the White House said today in a statement that the Chief of Staff, John Kelly, and Bannon mutually agreed that today would be Bannon's last day. So that makes him now the fourth senior official to leave the White House in less than a month. Today, a major figure leaving through the White House revolving door. Steve Bannon, chief strategist for President Trump, is out.
We never had a doubt, and Donald Trump never had a doubt, that he was going to win.
Before the White House, Bannon made his name at Breitbart News, during the campaign serving as a bridge between the populist candidate and alt-right voters. But earlier this week, the president he helped put in office downplayed Bannon's role.
I went through 17 senators, governors, and I won all the primaries. Mr. Bannon came on very much later than that.
A White House official tells NBC News the decision came from new Chief of Staff John Kelly, brought on board to bring order and discipline to the White House. A lightning rod of controversy before he even entered the West Wing. Bannon clashed with other members of the president's team, including the president's own family, on critical agenda items. This week, the writing was on the wall.
We'll see what happens with Mr. Bannon.
Bannon provoked outrage earlier this week, saying the president's controversial comments on Charlottesville and hate groups were good for the White House because they distracted Democrats.
What we've heard from Steve Bannon, both on the campaign and during his time in the White House, suggests that he's reinforcing these ugly tendencies of the president.
Bannon now joins spokesman Sean Spicer, Chief of Staff Reince Priebus, and short-lived communications director Anthony Scaramucci as the latest former members of the Trump White House. And there are now reports that Bannon will head back to Breitbart News. The question now, will he use his megaphone to help or hurt the president? In Washington, Blaine Alexander, Local 4.
Okay, Blaine, and more fallout just 1 week after the deadly white nationalist rally in Virginia. Thousands are expected to gather for demonstrations across the country.
The largest rally, in fact, planned in Boston, organized by several alt-right groups. More than 500 officers will be there for what's being called a free speech rally. And in Durham, city officials and police facing protesters who are counter-protesting for a potential KKK march. New information for you now in that deadly attack that took place in Finland today. The country's interior minister says security is being stepped up at airports and also train stations all across the country. 2 people were killed, 6 were hurt after the knife attack in the city of Turku. Police say there's only 1 suspect, and it's not clear if the incident is terror-related. That suspect is in custody right now, but they are still investigating to see if anyone else was involved as well. And now on to Barcelona, where we're learning new details in the attack at a crowded public plaza.
Here's the latest. The death toll now stands at 13, with more than 100 injured after a driver in a van plowed into a crowd in a popular tourist area known as Las Ramblas. NBC's Richard Engel is in Barcelona tonight.
This is Las Ramblas in the heart of Barcelona. This is the beating heart of this city, a pedestrian street that has long been the center of street life here. Unfortunately, is now also remembered as the scene of a terrorist attack when yesterday a van came barreling through here, killing at least 13 people, injuring about 80 others. And that turns out to have just been the start of a wave of terrorist attacks, because just a few hours after that attack, there was a second attack that police mainly thwarted. That happening south of Barcelona. 5 people in a van started rushing toward crowds, rushing toward police. Their van, however, overturned, and police quickly shot them dead, killing 4 right away, the 5th dying a short time later. In their van, according to police, they had knives, they had an axe, and they were wearing what police described as fake suicide vests. Spanish authorities are investigating this as 2 connected incidents. They are absolutely calling it terrorism. They say it is jihadi terrorism. Now, the street is perhaps even more crowded than it was at the time of the attack. Tens of thousands of people have come here. Dignitaries have come. Members of the royal family have come to express their sympathy. their support, but also to show that the people here and this city refuse to be terrorized. Richard Engel, NBC News, along Las Ramblas in Barcelona.
And police also believe the attackers were trying to build a truck bomb that could have killed hundreds, but they failed to get the bomb built.
Now on to the weather, and the Woodward Dream Cruise in full swing tonight. You're looking at live pictures right now from Sky 4. And you know, there's no doubt all those thousands of folks out there, they want the weather to cooperate.
They do. Andrew is in for Ben tonight. So Andrew, what do you say? Are they going to be in the clear?
They're looking good. We got warm conditions. Pontiac at 74 here in downtown Detroit. East side 77 degrees, and it stays in the 70s at least during the early evening. Some clouds overhead, but some sunshine making it down to earth as well. This area of low pressure, it means the chance for rain, but not for this evening. Not for the Dream Cruise or any other activities that are happening in downtown Detroit or the rest of southeast Michigan. Nice and warm out there. Sure, temperatures a little bit below average. It's a bit breezy out there as well, but 74 or greater. 78 for our friends over in Ann Arbor, 77 in Adrian. Again, for this evening, temperatures stay in the 70s, clouds overhead, but it remains dry. We'll talk more about that rain that's on the way for tomorrow morning, but also talk about your full weekend forecast, the eclipse forecast for Monday, coming right up.
Okay, Andrew, we're just getting things started here on the News at 5.
Much more ahead in this next hour of news, including Mylan pays up. The makers of the EpiPen now forced to pay out close to $500 million, but it isn't for overcharging consumers. Also, a very popular Michigan beach now off limits to swimmers.
And an off-duty Detroit police officer hurt in a hit-and-run crash overnight, but it turns out that's just half the story. We'll tell you what went so wrong that forced the officer to fire shots. Priya?
Signs blown away, trees ripped apart after a potential tornado touches down in the thumb.
People are driving right into it. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Dramatic viewer video captures a funnel cloud. We have storm coverage coming up.
Their story. New at 6.
It's a place designed for young people to have fun while getting some exercise, but someone's using it to spread hate. The investigation, new at 6.
If you think the water flowing over the Paint Creek Dam is moving a little quicker than usual, you'd be right. But they're doing that intentionally because there is something wrong with that dam. They've got to get water levels down. We'll explain what's going on and why residents should be concerned but not panicked.
Oh my God, look. The National Weather Service is on the ground in the Thumb tonight, confirming that this was indeed a tornado that touched down in Kingston. These shots from Sky 4 over the area show the damage the EF1 tornado caused.
Our Priya Man spoke to folks who watched the storm take dead aim right at them.
The path of destruction is pretty obvious. This 35-foot pine tree ripped into pieces. Take a look at that cornfield, just flattened because of the wind. Those willow trees also sustained some damage, but right next to it, that playhouse still standing.
So we said, well, we should go check on the Decker house. I said, nah, there's no tornadoes around here. And so we came home, and this is what we came into.
James Dean Bruderick was at church when the winds picked up.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's like a movie set going on here.
His trailer flipped on its side, smashing into a backhoe. His RV was thrown about 50 feet, landing in his neighbor's yard.
There's what the camper looks like now. The last time it was used was a couple weeks ago when my daughter got married.
Just a couple of weeks ago, guess.
I know, yeah.
Wow. David Bassbinder says he was at home when the front door suddenly flew open.
I was trying to push this door shut like this, you know, and the wind was blowing and ripped the pictures right off the wall.
Just a few yards away,
oh man,
a tree limb was embedded deep into the ground.
Kind of makes you realize that it could do some tremendous damage. You know, if it had hit the house, we were right there. We'd have went right with it.
Viewer video captured the moment an EF0 tornado touched down Thursday night a few miles southeast of Kingston in Tuscola County.
People are driving right into it. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Winds reached 75 miles per hour, and the isolated tornado was about 100 yards wide.
It's crazy how a strip of damage can happen like this.
Now the cleanup begins. Near Kingston, I'm Priya Man, Local 4.
My goodness, the pictures of all that damage.
I know, absolutely. You're in awe of the power of nature.
Really
Unfortunately, it was just one tornado that struck last night. Fortunately, we have calmer weather right now. As Priya mentioned, an EF0 tornado, winds of 75 miles per hour. Absolutely devastating in some areas, but fortunately only a small area.
Right, and nobody hurt, so that's good too.
The good news.
It certainly is. And we have calmer weather right now. If you're going out this evening, whether it's to the Dream Cruise or any place else, here's a look at your forecast. Temperatures go from 70s to 60s, so you might need your jacket if you know it's going to be a long night. If you're staying out as late as 11 o'clock this evening, whether it's the Dream Cruise or the baseball game that's in downtown Detroit, go ahead, bring your favorite jacket or a hat just so you can stay warm, maybe a sweatshirt. You tie it around your waist first and then you put it on. Temperatures in the 60s as we get closer to midnight. Looking good out there, even with clouds overhead, some sunshine making it down here to earth. We're looking at 79 degrees, warmer in those spots where the sun is actually making it. Winds out of the west at around 18 miles per hour. So a little breezy out there. Hold on to your hats also if you're going out this evening. Now take a look at this. We have a brand new tropical storm. Tropical Storm Harvey, winds of 40 miles per hour, nowhere near the United States, but it will travel through the Caribbean Sea over the next few days. More of a threat to Central America and Mexico as we go into early next week. Remember, we are your hurricane station. You can track this hurricane on the weather page of clickondetroit.com. 77 right now over at City Airport. A little bit cooler up in Sandusky where it's now 71. Same thing farther to our north in our north zone, while in our south zone and our west zone where some of that sunshine is making it through, that's where temperatures are closer to 80 degrees, including Saline and also around the Ann Arbor area. Now I'm watching this little area of low pressure right here, coming out of Minnesota into Wisconsin. It's going to dive just down to our south and give us a chance of rain, but not until tomorrow morning. Tonight it remains dry, even during the wee hours of your Saturday morning. But when you wake up tomorrow and join me on Local 4 News Today, say between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., some areas south of Detroit, especially south of 8 Mile, south of 94, may see a scattered shower or two. Anything severe? I doubt it. Maybe some light to moderate showers, but that is it. That includes tomorrow morning, middle part of the day, and then this area of low pressure starts to move out of here by tomorrow afternoon, inviting clearer skies, certainly by tomorrow night, and definitely for Sunday. And that means warmer conditions once again, feeling like summertime for another weekend of August. So 63 degrees overnight, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures down to the upper 50s in many surrounding neighborhoods. Sunset this evening, that's right, it's getting earlier and earlier at 8:29. 80 for a high tomorrow. The only wet period of day, and not everyone gets a shower, is in the morning and also around noontime. By the afternoon, it gets sunnier and therefore warmer. Highs around 80 degrees. As we go into Sunday, a high of 85. Look at eclipse weather on your Monday. Looking good. Summer-like with temperatures in the middle and even upper 80s. Mostly sunny skies. Remember those special glasses that you need. Peak of the eclipse is between 2:20 and 2:30 in the afternoon. After that, 80s once again, but with a shower or two on Tuesday. And then we're in the 70s. But look at all that sunshine coming back by Wednesday in the middle of next week.
Very nice.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Andrew.
Let's check in with Dr. McGeorge.
Well, making the most of the last weeks of summer is sending plenty of people to the doctor's office. Coming up, see why summer fun is to blame for what's going around.
But first, a man charged with going on a violent tantrum, taking his rage out on a dog. That story's next. Across Michigan tonight, stories from Northport and Emmett Township near Battle Creek.
But we want to start in Bangor Township near Bay City. A man is arrested and facing charges after attacking his dog. A neighbor says he called Ryan King here to let him know his pit bull had gotten loose. When King picked up the dog, he began punching the dog in the face with his fists while still on his neighbor's property. The neighbor tried to intervene, but then King threatened the neighbor. Police were called and King was taken into custody. He now faces 3 criminal charges.
Police say they've recovered the gravestone of a child that was stolen in June. The gravestone of a 2-year-old boy who died in 1988 disappeared from Banfield Cemetery. Investigators found the gravestone. It was buried in a backyard of a home in Emmett Township. The case is now under investigation.
If you're headed to the beach this weekend, you'll want to pay attention to this warning. The Benzie-Leelanau Health Department says E. coli levels at Northport Marina exceed standards for body contact set by the Department of Environmental Quality. The department expects the levels to be back to normal as warmer weather passes through. Meanwhile, the levels at Beulah Beach, Crystal Lake are back to normal, and it is safe to go boating, fishing, and swimming there. New police officers will soon be patrolling the streets of Detroit.
My fundamental duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception,
These new officers were sworn in this morning at Greater Grace Temple Church. Altogether, 25 students took an oath to serve and protect the city.
These new officers that graduated today really have gotten some of the best training.
Chief Craig says the officers will now be split across the city, going downtown and to different precincts as well.
New at 5:30.
A mother wakes up to a terrifying sight.
I woke up this morning to him standing over my bed, asking me to hide him.
The one thing she quietly did to get a dangerous criminal out and into custody.
It was time to face a judge in yesterday's raid here in Dearborn, but what the prosecutors are saying is the effect of the drugs is staggering. We'll have the story.
On the east side, a Detroit police officer's car is hit by another car and then shots are fired.
Skirted off, sounded like they went that way. And then I heard some gunshots, like 3. And then when I looked out, it was a whole bunch of police out here.
What happened and why we'll explain. We'll also hear from the chief.
Next week.
An off-duty Detroit police officer hurt in a hit and run, but it turns out that's only half the story. Chief James Craig says a police officer is never really off-duty, and that was especially true overnight on Detroit's east side.
Sean Lay joins us live with a wild story, and Sean, that officer actually fired shots.
And he was simply trying to get home after his shift, Kimberly, T-boned in the middle of the street. And when he got out, a gun was pointed at him from the other driver. So yes, the chief says he did fire shots in his own defense. Neighbors near Mound and Robinwood heard a crash, then heard shots.
Skirted off, sounded like they went that way. And then I heard some gunshots, like 3. And then when I looked out, it was a whole bunch of police out here, state police, regular police.
A Detroit police officer working the gang unit was done for the night and was heading home. He spots a chase, which could have been a race or could have been a carjacking in progress.
He's going home, he sees 2 vehicles at a high rate of speed, one Dodge Charger Hellcat being what appeared to be pursued by a Toyota.
The driver of that Toyota loses control and T-bones the officer's car. The officer gets out, so does that other driver. Police say the driver pointed a gun at the officer.
He points it at the officer. Now, the officer is identifying himself as a Detroit police officer. He's off duty. He has his badge around his neck. He's wearing the green fatigue pants, but he's not in uniform. He directs the suspect, drop your weapon.
The driver with the gun did not drop it, and the officer fired 2 shots. The driver took off running. He broke into a car trying to hide. A neighbor called, and police finally caught up with him.
They go off duty, but you can certainly very quickly, in a moment's notice, go on duty.
The driver of that car was not hit by those officers' shots. He's in custody tonight. That officer, Kimberly, banged up quite a bit, but I'm told by the chief he's going to be okay.
That's good news, Sean. But what about that white Challenger that you mentioned that was involved? Do you know anything else about that?
Yeah, so that was leading the way in all this. Police would like to catch up with that driver to find out exactly what was going on. Possible carjacking or street race. They just don't know right now.
Okay. If you do know anything, then contact police. Sean, we appreciate it.
Last night we saw the raid, and tonight we learned the wreckage possibly caused by this so-called pill mill going on here. It was an operation state police say they broke up in Dearborn. Rod Maloney live at the now shuttered Dearborn Medical Clinic. And Rod, this was a very busy operation apparently.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on here, Sandra, and here's the thing. As we look at this situation, the neighbors here have been coming up to us thanking us, or at least not us, but the police for shutting this down because it's calmed the chaos in the neighborhood here. And the feds today, and not the feds, the local prosecutors came out today and talked a lot about what they discovered inside this clinic, and it was especially frightening.
They're charging you with 4 counts of delivery of a controlled substance.
67-year-old family physician Dr. Mohammed Durrani of West Bloomfield pleaded not guilty for allegedly illegally prescribing hydrocodone and Adderall, and doing so without proper patient examinations. The state claims that he did so while his office manager, 28-year-old Zahra Al-Wahed, allegedly coached patients on what to say to get the doctor to write the opioid prescriptions they wanted. She faces another charge of being a habitual offender and also pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors believe roughly half the 500,000 pills he allegedly prescribed this year made it onto the street. Yet the most troublesome part of the case, they say, is 55 prescriptions Durrani allegedly wrote for people to have what's called the drug abuser's holy trinity: an opioid or narcotic, a benzodiazepine or tranquilizer, and Respiratory, a muscle relaxant. Local 4 Dr. Frank McGeorge, an ER doc, has seen patients using this dangerous and frightening mix.
They act together to stop someone's level of consciousness, put them to sleep, and maybe even stop them from breathing. We often see patients in the emergency room that have taken very similar cocktails, and we call it a soma coma. That's the third component of it, is actually soma. Knocks people out and often renders them unable to breathe, and that's where we have to save their lives.
Now, Dr. Durrani remains in the Dearborn police lockup this evening. He's been there since yesterday when he was arrested. He was given a $250,000 cash surety bond, which means he has to come up with the full amount in order to be able to bond it out of the jail. And also his co-defendant, his office manager, has a $25,000 cash surety bond. She remains in the jail as well. If they don't bond out here soon, they're going to end up in the Wayne County Jail probably for the weekend. Back to you.
And Rod, what about Michigan State Police? How did they go about making their case here?
Well, here's the thing. There was so much complaint about the conduct out here, the lines of people using the front lawns as bathrooms. That got everybody's attention. But what they did was they put undercover officers in here and went in and had their visit with the doctor and were able to get prescriptions as well. And that led to those 4 counts each for these defendants in this case as that one particular event.
All right, so an undercover sting. All right, thank you so much, Rod. The man accused in the sexual assault of a female jogger at Hines Park will now wait for his arraignment this month.
Floyd Galloway Jr. was back in court today and is now facing new charges. Those charges include kidnapping, assault with intent to commit sexual penetration, assault with intent to commit strangulation, and assault with intent to commit murder. Galloway will be arraigned August 25th.
Popular singer Trey Songz is sentenced after accepting a plea deal earlier today. Songz pled guilty to 2 charges of disturbing the peace. The charges of resisting and obstructing an officer and also aggravated assault, those were dismissed. Sentences to 18 months of probation. This all comes after he started throwing speakers during a concert at the Joe Louis Arena. That was in December of 2016. Right now, police in Indiana are investigating just a horrific case of a 1-year-old boy who was taken to the hospital after allegedly overdosing on drugs.
Such a disturbing story here. Court documents show the hospital used a drug normally used to treat opiate overdoses to help save the little boy. The 26-year-old mother who you see there was on house arrest when she found her son near her bedroom with plastic in his mouth and powder on his face. News of the little boy's condition spread quickly, leaving the neighborhood shocked.
It breaks my heart. It does. It breaks my heart just to see that kids even have to experience anything like that, let alone find something like that. Them kids are just innocent, and they have to deal with the epidemic that this whole country's going through.
Prosecutors say the mother has not been officially charged, but the little boy is expected to be okay.
Some big news coming out of the medical industry as the U.S. Justice Department has now reached a settlement for EpiPen overcharges. The settlement, worth $465 million, and resolves claims that the company, Mylan, avoided higher rebates to state Medicaid programs by misclassifying EpiPen, an emergency allergy treatment, as a generic medication. Under the settlement, Mylan will now reclassify the EpiPen and pay the rebate applicable to its new classification. That will start as of April. A Florida mother's quick thinking led to an escaped convict's arrest.
Roxanne Vanderveer says she woke up to Joshua Holmes standing over her in her home. Holmes escaped from a local landfill and was on the run from deputies. He asked Vanderveer to hide him. Vanderveer says she tried to get Holmes to turn himself in, but he didn't want to. Vanderveer could see deputies outside her home, but out of fear for her kids' safety, she had to find a discreet way to alert them.
The number one thing is my kids. That's why instead of calling 911, I texted 911. I let them know that he was in the home. And then as soon as he went to the back of the house, grabbed both kids, and I run out the front.
When deputies got there, Holmes was hiding in the attic. He actually fell through the ceiling and was taken into custody. All right, probably the biggest outdoor event of the summer is set for tomorrow with the Woodward Dream Cruise. It's already busy. We showed a shot earlier today. I was trying to avoid Woodward at all costs.
I know. Like all week you have to avoid Woodward.
You have to avoid it until you're ready to go there tomorrow. Yeah. But the big question is, how's the weather going to hold up, Andrew?
It's holding up nicely as we go through this evening. Clouds overhead, but no threat of any rain. Now, there is a chance of showers for the first half of our weekend. That's early Saturday. But look at your evening forecast. Hey, this is a great night to get out there on the Dream Cruise. Temperatures go from the 70s into the 60s, so if you're grabbing your lawn chairs, grab your jackets as well. As late as 11 o'clock or around midnight, we'll see temperatures fall into the cooler 60s. Clouds are overhead, but don't worry. I don't think we'll see anything but maybe a sprinkle or two over the next couple of hours, then drier later tonight, so basically no rain at all. 79 degrees currently over at Metro Airport. As you can see, we are rain-free looking at the radar picture, and now looking live at downtown Detroit, we got some sunshine still filtering through, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's a bit breezy out there. If you got some picnic tables lining Woodward Avenue, make sure things are weighted down so any napkins, utensils, they don't blow away. Winds at around 18 miles per hour. But temperatures in the warm 70s everywhere from Pontiac to Detroit, 74 to 77 or 78 degrees. Now it turns cooler overnight, so make sure that you can give your air conditioners a break with temps in the low 60s here in the metro zone. Farther away from the city, a little bit cooler, like in our south zone. 59 for our friends over in Dundee, west of 275, upper 50s as well. We'll talk more about that rain on Saturday, but we'll also talk about Sunday and eclipse weather in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Andrew. Tonight, hundreds of thousands of gearheads are hoping the weather stays clear for the Woodward Dream Cruise. Take a look right now at live pictures from Sky 4, but as we all know, the cruise is much more than just a one-day event. Tim Pamplin is out there tonight getting in on all the fun.
The traffic jam that people come from around the world to get stuck in. Estimated to bring in over 1 million visitors and more than 40,000 muscle cars and street rods. The smell of hot oil and burning rubber as these classics make their way along Woodward Avenue. Over in Ferndale tonight, a fascinating collection of antique first responder vehicles. And while the weather down here looked a little touch and go at times, classic owners tell me this is perfect weather.
We really lucked out on the weather. We really can't complain today.
Just keep our fingers crossed for tomorrow?
Tomorrow as well. Let's say a prayer and keep our fingers crossed.
As I mentioned earlier, over 1 million people expected along Woodward Avenue, and people really do come from all around the world. Gary here, he's from England.
Lots of cars, lots of V8s, lots of power, lots of noise. It's great.
Happy cruising, everybody. We'll see you back here at 6. That's the scene along Woodward Avenue. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
Tim always finds his British buddies.
I was going to say, of course he finds the couple from England.
Exactly. Well, welcome if you are in town for the Dream Cruise. We'll have more this weekend. In more news, the Powerball jackpot continues to grow as the 5th largest jackpot in history has grown by $25 million. It's now at an estimated $535 million with a $340 million cash option. If a Michigan player wins the drawing, it will end up being the largest Powerball prize ever won in the state. The next drawing is Saturday night, and we will, of course, have the winning numbers on Local 4 News at 11. A father makes what feels like an impossible decision while driving with his family in the car.
It just keeps replaying in your head. You would never think this could happen.
We'll show you what they were forced to do as they crossed a bridge.
Also, Texas has a brand new $70 million football stadium, but it's who it was built for. That will shock you, and it's not a pro team. That's a hint. Doc?
Well, everyone is determined to make the most of the last weeks of summer, and it definitely shows at the doctor's office. Coming up, see why summer fun is to blame for what's going around.
New at 6.
A big name in social media moving to Detroit and looking to hire. Coming up new at 6, who's opening a new office and how you can apply to work there.
It was a bombshell indictment and black eyes for Chrysler and also the UAW. But now more charges. We'll have them for you.
All right, Rod. In good health, everyone is determined to make the most of the last weeks of summer, and it shows in the doctor's office.
Local doctors are reporting lots of summer-related issues this week. Dr. Frank McGeorge is here to show us what's going around.
Well, Kimberly and Sandra, you know, this is one of those weeks where doctors don't need a calendar to know it's approaching the end of August. Here's what's going around where you live. In Wayne County Children's Hospital is seeing asthma flare-ups and infected bug bites. Henry Ford pediatricians are treating upper respiratory infections, allergies, and heat rash. And Garden City reports stomach viruses, and the Beaumont South hospitals are seeing sports and yard work-related injuries. Over to Oakland County, Dr. Steve McGraw at Providence is seeing stings from aggressive bees. Beaumont Dr. Richard Weiermiller reports tick and mosquito bites, poison ivy, and swimmer's itch. And Clarkson Medical Group is seeing seasonal allergies and lots of colds. West to Washtenaw County, where St. Joseph Mercy reports an increase in patients with breathing problems related to the summer heat and more animal bites. Doctors at U of M are seeing an uptick in upper respiratory infections, mono, and stomach viruses. Looking at Monroe County, ProMedica Monroe Regional is seeing breathing problems in children related to the heat and humidity, as well as a number of outdoor injuries. Dr. Anthony Songo reports seasonal allergies, poison ivy, and summer colds. To Macomb County, where McLaren-Macomb says allergies remain high and stomach viruses are holding steady. Dr. Tony Bonfiglio at St. John Macomb reports asthma and COPD symptoms on the rise with the high humidity, and the CVS Miniclinic in Macomb is treating swimmer's ear, pink eye, and sinus infections. Finally, in Livingston County, St. Joseph Mercy Livingston and the St. Joseph Mercy Brighton are seeing outdoor injuries and bee stings.
Now, wasps, yellow jackets, and bees, they do tend to be more aggressive starting in August and into September. That's when we often see an increase in stings. So if you are allergic, be sure that you are carrying your EpiPen at all times.
Don't try to shoo them away. My grandmother used to say, don't shoo them away. That makes them want to.
They get more.
Yeah, they're not interested in you. Just leave them alone. They'll go away.
There you go.
Good
It's true.
advice, as always. Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Doc.